Welcome back to the Dividend Diplomats YouTube channel. You got your boys, Lanny and Bert, the Dividend Diplomats. Today, we're going to ask 5 key questions that we have ahead of SCHD's annual reconstitution.
Guys, smash that subscribe button. Give us a nice thumbs up. All right, dividend investors out there, welcome to the weekend where we're talking right about the most popular dividend ETF there is, Charles Schwab's, dividend yield ETF here, guys, SCHD. If you guys don't know, every single March, they always do a reconstitution or reshuffling of the gosh damn deck.
Yeah.
It's about that time of the year, Bert.
Yep, it's middle of March, so we figured we'd come through, we'd explain the methodology here for SCHD in just 5 questions we put together. Because we buy, in my wife's account, 18 or 19 shares of SCHD every single Monday. We've grown that position. We continue growing that position, and we're not going to stop. So part of the fun is SCHD shakes that snow globe every single year and goes through it. So what we're going to do, we found one of our favorite X accounts to follow here. We'll put a link down to their account. It's our boy SCHD Stan. He is SCHD everything. If you like SCHD and you're on X, this is an account you need to follow. We threw that link down there below. Get a great chart that he tweeted out back in October 2024 that overall just explains SCHD's methodology. It's a nice looking chart. I'm not going to lie here. So SCHD, what do you need to do to get into SCHD? They run a screen when they're going through the process here. You need your company to be even qualified for SCHD, 10 years of consecutive dividend payments, a minimum market cap of 500 million, and a 3-month average daily trading volume of $2 million. So this pays out the dividend. This weeds out the dividend pretenders. This weeds out your small cap stocks that are
dividend pretenders. Oh
yeah,
man, you're dropping it.
Yeah, you just want those companies that have history of paying dividends, substantial market cap, and are pretty actively traded there on the market. So then what they do, after you pass the screen, they're ranked by indicated annual dividend yield. They take the top 50% of this group, of this screen, top 50%, and then they rank them again, Lanny. Then they rank them one more time by
free cash flow.
Yeah. Return on equity, annual dividend yield, and a 5-year dividend growth rate. All of that, those are your companies that you're going to pick from. But wait, there's one.
There's more.
There's more. You pick 100 stocks from the index. You can't be overweighted in any individual stock or any individual sector. So at the time of the weighting, no stock can exceed 4% of SCHD's holdings and 25% sector cap. There it is. That's the methodology here, everybody.
Pretty interesting methodology considering a certain industry right now is very, very heavy. But again, as Bert said, 4% cap per stock limit and 25% sector cap.
Yeah. So what they do
very
too,
interesting.
Yeah, and I say what they do too is obviously stocks appreciate over time, right? So every quarter they look at it and they reshuffle it. And if a stock gets too overweight over the 4% cap, every quarter they'll shuffle the deck down a little bit just to trim the position, get it back to the 4% allocation. So there is some maintenance throughout the year.
A little bit of maintenance, a little bit of TLC, and again, currently like those top 10 right now, you're sitting at AbbVie, a lot of big pharma right now. AbbVie is really taking the cake. Coca-Cola, Amgen, Cisco, Pfizer, Verizon, Bristol Myers, Texas Instruments, Pepsi, and Chevron. And again, those 10 make up 43%. So if you actually are higher currently than the 4% cap threshold, which you better damn well know that pretty much 8 out of the top 10 are over 4%. So those are about to get re-sliced and diced no matter what.
Yeah. So before we jump into our 5 burning questions, we're going to pause. Everyone, throw something in the comment section below. Here's what we want to know. Are you a current SCHD shareholder? Or are you looking at this video or watching this video and are you looking into investing in SCHD and you're wanting to learn more about how the process works? Curious who's stopping by and watching this video. So please throw that down there in the comment section below.
SC. And how often are you buying SCHD? Are you like Bert buying 18 to 25 shares a week? Or are you buying one share a week, one share a day? Let us know, guys. But we've got 5 burning questions ahead of the SCHD Reconstitution Reshuffle. The first one, and it hits home, guys. It hits the why, the dividend growth.
Yep.
Will SCHD as the first question. Can and will SCHD maintain that strong dividend growth?
Hmm.
Hmm.
That's right here. So why is this the first question?
Hmm.
SCHD historically had a strong 5-year average dividend growth rate. 2020, 17%. 2021, 11%. 22,
Mhm.
13.89%. But then there was that dud of a reconstitution landing in 2023. It was a
Yeah,
terrible one. Their dividend growth rate in 2023 was
that's just terrible.
3.77%. But in 2024, they brought the dividend growth back, my friend. That dividend growth was 12% compared to
Huge.
2023. It was a huge increase. So the question is, can they maintain the strong dividend growth? Will 2025 be like 2024 or will it be like 2023, Lanny? And that is what I'm curious about. We aren't going to really know until we see what companies make up that top 10, what companies make up that full 100 holdings for SC.
If they continue to hold this top 10, probably not, because I know all of these companies pretty much have dividend growth rates below 5%, maybe with the exception of Bristol, Myers,
Yeah.
Squib. So these are all low dividend growers at this point.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
so you gotta really look and think hard about that.
yeah. So, question number two, you kind of hinted at this one, Lanny, when you were talking about
Ooh,
their top 10. Can SCHD break its dependence on big pharma in that top 10? That's going to be a burning question. What are they going to do with all their pharmaceutical holdings? In that top 10, you have, as you said, AbbVie, Amgen, Pfizer, and Bristol Myers Squibb.
a lot
All,
of farm.
all of them are over 4%. So that's over 17% with the rounding. I mean, with the decimal, 2 decimals out in big pharma. And right now, Andy, big pharma is taking a big beating right now. This is not the sector that's performing the hottest here. So are they going to cut bait, reduce the allocation, or is their formula going to push them further into pharma?
They have to trim down some positions to get below 4%.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you see them exiting because they kind of hit on all the other cylinders, the years of dividend growth. They probably have decent cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
They've probably been paying down debt. So this will be very, very interesting. I think naturally you should, I would say because there's so many, you could easily bet that some sort of big pharma is going to fall out of the top 10. But when you have, 4 or 5 large pharma companies in the top 10, um, you know, who would be up next?
Yeah. I don't know. That's going to be the fascinating thing is where are they going to pivot this portfolio, especially when you look at the sectors. Pharma is their number one or number two, a close behind financials. So financials and healthcare are the top two. Consumer defensive is behind it. Energy and tech. Who knows, man?
I I I agree. I think I'm curious if maybe the stock positions in the top 11 through 20 end up just grabbing a little bit more position. I wonder if this is going to be a light reconstitution.
Yeah, it is. I'll throw this in as a bonus at the end. I have one of my predictions of who's going to be one of the largest stocks at the end of this, who's going to be in their catapult to their top three. So stay tuned to the end if you
Ooh,
want to see my
the
prediction
T.
for
Um,
the stock in the sector that I think is going to be making a little bit of an appearance.
so the next, which is a great segue because who falls out of the top 10? Broadcom, which everybody was mad about, fell out of the top 10. And then, Merck, ADP, and Illinois Toolworks fell out of the top 10. Bert, if you were to say one stock that's going to fall out of the top 10, who are you saying is going
Yeah.
to fall out of the top 10?
Yeah, I actually made a slight edit to that note, Lanny. They some of those were just cut out altogether. Broadcom was just like ripped out of the portfolio. They sold the holding. So I wanted to say I had to correct it because I wasn't very clear when I wrote the note there for
It's
it.
all right. It's all
Um,
right.
It's going to be one of the pharmaceuticals. I don't know which pharmaceutical it is going to be.
Pick one. Pick one.
Um,
Have some fun with it. There's no wrong
yeah,
answer.
yeah, you're right. I'm going to pick Pfizer, ticker symbol PFE, and that pains me because we have
Ooh,
Pfizer. I'm going to say Pfizer is going to be the one that gets the
ouch.
Hogan leg drop. Who do you think, Lanny? You look at this. You make a bold prediction. Who's going to be the one that pops out of the top 10?
AbbVie.
Oh, they're going to take the. Yeah, I love it. I respect it. So there's always.
Going from one to not even in the top 10.
Oh my gosh, you would have thought last year when they kicked Broadcom out, Lanny, that they like murdered SCHD with the reactions that everyone got on social media. It was wild.
Just get ready, guys. Maybe somebody will turn heel here. No, John Cena.
That's right. So, burning question number 4: Where will there be a catalyst for share price appreciation? What you could say about SCHD and VYM, you look at this sector: financials, healthcare, energy. Technology is the 5th largest sector in here, and we can tell you from watching the S&P 500, the largest appreciation driver for the market and so many other funds out there are the technology holdings. So what's this catalyst going to be for SCHD to drive them in there? Because remember, they have 10 years of dividend payments. So the Mag 7's basically out, right? Like Mag 7 can't be in this fund. They don't have a high enough yield.
They're blacklisted.
Yeah, they're blacklisted from this. Where is the growth going to come from that could catapult SCHD higher?
Well, take a page out of AT&T's book. Is it Verizon Communications? Is it telecom that could ride it up this year?
Yeah, because say what you want to. SCHD, sure, their yield is higher than VYM. Their yield is higher than DGRO, but they've definitely trailed them from a share price standpoint. They're only up 7% versus VYM DGRO about 12%. So they're trailing them from that standpoint. Obviously trailing the S&P 500. So is this the year that they push themselves into the appreciation category, Lanny? That's the interesting.
I think they're, again, they're still holding on to the 2020, 2021 performing years. They've had an okay year last year.
Mm-hmm.
To say that they're due for a big year, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's going to be a catalyst. This might be just like hey, we're going to have lower beta than the S&P 500, and this could be the year that they outperform the S&P 500 because of the defensive nature of this dividend portfolio.
Yeah, I agree. So that's where we think that's where's it going to come from? Maybe they find more tech. To your point, maybe they find more ways to grow where tech drags down the market. That'll be an interesting thing to follow. And here's the last question. Last but definitely not least, Lanny. Can we continue to trust the process for SCHD?
I mean, I think dividend growth wise, it was baller last year, again, experiencing over 12% growth. You haven't had the appreciation in the last 2.5 years.
Is it?
The fund is old, but not old. You know what I mean? Hasn't been around, hasn't gotten too much dirt yet on it.
Yeah. And what
you can't say you can't trust it, and you can't say you can trust it.
Exactly. And what differentiated SCHD from others, it was the formulaic nature to how they went about reshuffling this portfolio every single year. They had a formula, they stuck to it, and that served them well for so many years. But has the league caught up to them? Like, not to throw a basketball reference in here, but Golden State shocked what? Golden State, and this kills me saying this to Cavs, they changed the game because of how the fast pace, spread the floor, shoot threes a lot. And they dominated. Yep. They had that edge. But now the rest of the NBA caught up to them. The rest of the NBA figured that out too, and they adjusted. Has the market adapted to what SCHD is putting down to where this process might not be the route for growth and the route for success for SCHD that it was before? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
No. So 2024, you could say the 2024 Reconstitution was successful, right? Share price went up. Dividend growth came back. So you can't, 2024 was a success. 2023 was a dud. 2025 is going to be a big year to answer that question. Can you continue trusting this process? And I think that is going to be such a critical thing to look at when we do a video 2 weeks from now recapping what happened with SCHD.
I mean, I've had a great year to date so far comparatively. Actually doing very well this year. So I think we'll have to really, again, give it more time to find out.
Yeah. So there it is. Those were our 5 questions. Can SCHD maintain a strong dividend growth in 25? When they reduce their dependency on pharma? What stock's going to fall out of the top 10? Shake your head no for that one, Lanny. That's I'm kidding. What will be a catalyst for share price appreciation? And can we keep trusting the process? And earlier, I mentioned I'd throw a bonus in there. What stock do I think are going to be the contenders to jump up to the top of this list? I believe they're buried in their portfolio now. There's not in the top 10. My guess is it's going to be you're going to see Lockheed Martin or General Dynamics catapult themselves into a very high position in SCH. Whether it's the top 1, 2, or 3, I think you see a huge presence at the top of the list for one of those 2 companies.
I dig it. GD just increased their dividend the other day. You got to love it, respect it. A nice 2 to 3% yielder with a nice 5% plus dividend growth rate, guys. Let us know what you think of SCHD on the 5 questions. Let us know if you own and have been buying the SCHD ETF. Don't forget to like this video, guys. Subscribe to the Diplomats channel here.
And remember, you're either with us or you're against us, Jack.
That was Bert the Herd and Lanny from the Dividend Diplomats. Over and out.